Hey Brian, hope you're feeling better for your trip next week. This video lesson for today, 3 things I want to talk about. I'll go down the list. If you have questions at the end, feel free to shoot me over a message and I'll be happy to look at anything or answer any questions that you have. So let's get to it. So I got your text. It says that you've been working on your E minor pentatonic boxes 1 through 3. Hope everything's going good with that. Like I said, if you want to send over a video of you playing through that, like more specific comments, but I'll kind of go off. And it's good that you're kind of learning the melody of, you're not kind of, you are, learning the melody of Heart of Gold, because that's a great place to start with coming up with different rhythmic ideas, as you know, from playing drums for years. So the way to connect the boxes, you can connect them in a zigzag fashion, kind of like what we did last time by going, going back down the other, so like going up one and then coming back down another. Another thing, you can turn the volume up so you can hear better. So quiet. There you go. So you can zigzag through the boxes. Another way I like connecting the boxes is through a single string. What I mean by that, so say for example, if I play E minor pentatonic box 1, and I get to the very top right there. So on the first string, the notes would be 0 and 3, or E and G. And then I go to box 2, I play. Right, what you can do is play 0, 3, and then the 3, 5 from the second box, right? And then you do the same thing for the first string, or the box 3 on the first string. So going up box 3, right? So you have this, 0, 3, I'll play with just one finger not to confuse anybody. So 0, 3, 5, 7. Those are all notes on the E minor pentatonic found on that single string right there on the first string. And what you can do is first familiarize yourself with going up and down those frets, right? You can change up the fingering, kind of depending on what pattern you're playing. And there's a lot of different things you can do with that. You could do, for example, this kind of gets into point 2, but I'll kind of talk about it, is that you can do like a 3-note sequence on one string. So like 1, 2, 3, I'm counting out the number of notes in the sequence. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, right? That way. And then you can go to the second string. Once you're familiar with that, then you go to the second string and do the same procedure. So that one, if I kind of jump through the steps, right? And just see how many strings you can get through. Don't feel like you gotta get through all 6. It's better to be really familiar with like a couple of them or a few, rather than trying to jam all 6 into your brain all at one point. Because the idea is we want to get away from like box playing, like up and down this way, and we want to play more horizontal on the neck, right? So you just like this, right? To get you kind of moving this way. I always think the boxes is kind of like train stations. As you're going up the string, you can stop off at this station right here. And so I started in box 1, got to box 2 through box 3, and then stopped off at box 3. Right, stuff like that. So work on that. And like I said, make sure you have one string really solid before you move on to the next, because what we're going to do eventually is we're going to do like different string groups. So that way you're like be parked on string 2 and 1 and solo that way. And then strings 1 through 3, and then move the boxes that way. But we'll talk more about that as we kind of get to that direction. All right, cool. So number 2 is answering your question about creating solo lines. Like I said, doing the vocal line is awesome. I was thinking it was like guitar karaoke. So what I'll do in that situation, I would find a karaoke backing track of the song, and then see if I can play the melody of the song against the karaoke track. You can do that too if you want. Or you can get a looper pedal. So creating solo lines, I give myself a bunch of parameters when I'm doing, because I feel like I know a lot, but the more I know, the more I learn, the more I realize I don't know. But using what I know already, I feel like it's like kind of a lot, and I can kind of like go off in a tangent one way, and I feel it's almost like schizophrenic almost, like kind of just jumping around too much. So what I'll do is I'll give myself a set of parameters. In this case right here, I'll pick a box that I'm going to use. So I'll go, okay, I'm going to use box 2, right? I'm going to pick a sequence. I'm going to do a 3-note sequence, right? You can do a 4-note sequence if you want, but I'm going to pick a 3-note sequence. And how many of those are you going to do? And like we said before, you can get away with like maybe like 4, maybe 5 if you're playing to a guitar crowd, but you want to kind of keep it simple. So I'm going to pick 2 sequences. and then pick a rhythmic unit or device, right? So you can use like 16th notes or triplets or something like that. So pick a rhythmic idea. You can pick like 2 different rhythms once you get really good at it, or multiple if you want. And then pick a guitar effect, like a slide or a hammer-on or something like that. That way you give yourself clear rules to follow rather than just kind of like just trying to wing it, right? Because if you try to wing it, you're gonna try to play everything that you know, and it's gonna sound like a chaotic mess. And as you know, as a musician, people love repeating patterns, right? And then with a little bit of chaos in there, I guess. So what I did was I created a sample line right here using box 2, using 3-note sequence. I got 2 of them, and then I picked a slide to do. So in this case, and my rhythm is going to be a triple, so that's my solo line right there. Cool. I can play it backwards if I want to too. Use space. As you know, as a drummer, you don't be playing stuff all the time. You want to give yourself some space when you're playing, right? Don't feel like you gotta jam all your ideas in there. Let the last note ring. Do a vibrato on that last one. That's why I indicated here. So you have that. Right? So give yourself, and we'll talk about vibrato next time. I didn't talk about it yet, but with you at least, but we'll go over that guitar effect probably next lesson. Right, so what I like you to do is maybe create like, start getting a lick bag, maybe like do like 1 or 2 a day. I find if you try to make too many in a short amount of time, you forget what you did. And write them down too. Like, I have a sketchbook at home where I have all this stuff written out. Where I have like things that I like that I did, I write them out. That way I won't forget them, or I'll go, okay, what's something that I haven't played in a long time? I'll go back and find some licks in there. So write some of these out in tablature. Maybe get like 5 or 10 for next time, and then that way you'll start getting like themes that you always kind of return to when you're playing. It's important not to just go on tangents. It's like riff after riff after riff, or solo line after solo line. Nothing ever comes back. You repeat them as you know. Work on that, and then what we'll talk about next time are incorporating some arpeggio exercises into your solo lines. For example, we'll do the E form chord, and we'll come up with some solo lines revolving around that cage shape, turning to a G6. So solo line, and then arpeggio. Right? Cool. But we'll talk about that next week though, or 2 weeks after you get back from your vacation. Or I hope it's a vacation, it's not work. All right, man. Like I said, let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you same time next time. Take care.